All right, guys, so we're starting 5-6 today. This is graphing lines on the calculator. It's probably the day you've all been waiting for. I'm going to show you a couple of things on the calculator today. It should make your life a little bit easier. But remember, if we're asking you for certain things on tests, you may have to show work. If it says use your calculator, use your calculator. If not, you probably want to do it the old-fashioned way. The calculator part is really just to get you ready and help you check yourself. So there's a couple of steps on here that I want to look at. To clear the memory, which you'll have to do before you start the STAR test, you hit second and the plus sign, and it brings up this menu. Then you just hit 712, and it should say RAM cleared. That means you've cleared your calculator. Another thing you want to make sure and do, which is usually set for you, is go into Zoom. We want to use Zoom 6. You want to use Zoom 6 because that's going to set it up nice for you. Another one sometimes that we use is Zoom 8. But Zoom 6 is generally what we want. Okay, so I'm going to go back and hit Zoom 6, and that'll give me a nice window for most things. Let me scroll down a little bit here. So first, it's going to ask us a couple of questions that we should already know the answers to. Like, we got this equation, y equals 2x minus 8. It asks for the slope. Well, the slope in this case is 2, or for graphing purposes, we could put 2 over 1. The y-intercept is negative 8, or the point 0, negative 8. Now, let's plug this into our calculator. So let me bring the calculator up. I'm going to have to get rid of this stuff right there. Now, as I'm going, guys, the calculator can't be up when I'm writing, so I'll kind of just tell you, and then we'll write it at the end. So first, we want to push the y equals button. That takes us into our plot function menu, and we want to put the graph or the equation in, which is 2x minus 8. So 2x minus 8. And I want you to hit second graph. That's going to show us, I'm sorry, just hit graph, my fault. So it says first we're going to find the y-intercept. Well, to find it, guys, there's this trace button up there by graph, and it puts a cursor on the line that I can move left, right, up, down, whatever I want. Well, it looks like, since the y-intercept means x equals 0, that I have at the bottom here, it says x equals 0, y equals negative 8. So our y-intercept is 0, negative 8. We can then go over here to where it crosses the x-intercept, or the x-axis, and it's kind of hard to tell. I know y needs to equal 0, but it kind of shifts between 3.8 and 4.04. So maybe that's not such a good thing to use if it's not exact. But if you go into the table, if you know that this is where y should equal 0, go down to where y equals 0. We have 4, 0. Then it says find two other points. Well, my table is filled with them. I can do 1, negative 6. 2, negative 4, 3, negative 2, any of those. So what we found for the y-intercept is that it was 0.0 and negative 8, or you can just say that b equals negative 8. That's fine with me. The y-intercept, after a little bit of talking, was 4, 0. And then any 2 points, I'm going to say 2, negative 4, and how about 5, 2? But any other 2 points would work. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go to the next page and see how it works. The next page has one more thing from the calculator. On the last problem, it says to sketch a graph. Well, guys, any 2 points off that table will work. I'm going to use the intercepts. So I have over 4 up 0 would be right there. We also had 0, negative 8, which is down here, and I can connect those points. But, guys, any 2 points off that table will work. Let's look at another one. It's a similar equation, except for this one has not been solved for y. You cannot plug things into a calculator until they've been solved for y. So let's do that first. Just like any equation in standard form, the first thing I want to do is subtract my x values. Those cancel out on the left, leaves me 3y equals negative x plus 9. Now I have to divide by whatever is in front of y to every piece. And I want to keep in mind that there's a 1 between that negative and that x. And I got y equals negative 1/3 x plus 3. So we can get our slope, negative 1/3 of that pretty easy, and our y-intercept, which is 3 or 0.03. So let's just look at the calculator real quick. I'm going to get rid of that stuff. Let's look at the y and x-intercept first. We already know what the y-intercept is, but we need to be real careful when we put this one in our calculator. I want you to put parentheses negative 1 divided by 3. If you're putting in a fraction, put in parentheses. Then your x, and then your plus 3. Now let's look at the graph. We already know what the y-intercept is, but let's just check. 0, 3 is what we thought, and that's what it is. Let's shift over to the x-intercept. It's way over here on the right, where it crosses the x-axis. I know it's when y equals 0, and we're getting closer and closer, really close. But then all of a sudden here, we're at 0.09, 0.02, and now it's shifted, so it's not quite exact. It looks like it's close to 9. But let's look at the table. If I can find where y is 0, then I've got it there. And it looks like right there that our x-intercept is 9, 0. So we can go ahead and write it on our x and y-intercepts that we have 9, 0 on the x-intercept, and it looks like we have 0, 3 on the y-intercept. And before I leave the table, I want to find 2 more points. I'm going to find some easy ones, like here. I've got 6, 1 would be a good one. Or how about 3, 2? You could use any of those, but I like whole numbers if possible. So let me write those out. So the y-intercept we found out was the 0.03. The x-intercept was 9, 0. 2 other points. I said 0.3, 2. And I'm going to go ahead and take 0.6, 1. Now, of course, we can sketch the graph pretty easy. I'm going to go ahead and take this off of my writing. Now, I'm going to throw my graph back up here. But, guys, we have the 2 points we wrote down. We can use that anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and graph these by using 0.32, so over 3 up 2. And I think the other point I just wrote down, I'm not sure. I'm going to use 0, 3, mine as well. So there is my graph, and it should look similar to the graph on your calculator. Hopefully it's just as good. All right, guys, so we've done all that stuff. Let's go down to the next one. I'll show you how to work this one. So the first thing we obviously have to do, it's in standard form, we need to solve it for y. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. Now I have 2y equals negative 5x plus 6. Then I divide everything by 2, what's in front of y. And I got y equals negative 5 halves x plus 3. And that's what it's asking me for right here. Negative 5 over 2x plus 3. Now what it's asking us is which of the points below will actually work for that. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this so I can pull up my calculator. I'm going to put my equation in. This time I have negative 5 over 2, so parentheses, negative 5 divided by 2, close parentheses, x plus 3. And I'm going to look at the table, okay? Now I'm going to go point by point. If the point's on the table, I'm going to circle it. If it's not, I'm not going to. 7, negative 2. That is not on my table. I have 7, negative 14.5, so I'm going to cross 7, 2 off my list. Let's see, negative 2, 8. Well, if I go to negative 2, it is 8, so that's one of my answers. Negative 5, 3. It's not negative 5, 3, so that's not it. Let's go to the negative 6. Negative 6, 18 is on my table, but negative 6, 3 is not. Negative 4, 13. This one right here is on my table, so I'm going to use it. Let's see, that leaves me with 2, negative 2, which is in my table right there. 8, negative 2, which is not, but 8, negative 17 is. So here's what we found. 7, 2 is not on our list. Negative 5, 3 is not. 4, negative 1 doesn't work. Negative 6, 3, and 8, negative 2. But every one of these that I'm circling was on my table. So guys, it's pretty easy stuff. You can use these calculators to check your work quite often. So make sure you do it. If you have any questions, just let me know. Good luck.